Hey, what's going on there, guys? Happy New Year. So I wanted to start off this year by going back to the past and talking about one of my favorite video games of all time, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. So it's very hard to believe that Uncharted 2 Among Thieves came out over 15 years ago. It initially released on October 13th of 2009, and I remember when it came out, and I was a freshman in high school. I had just started high school, and I was looking forward to Uncharted 2 Among Thieves at that point. And I had played Uncharted 1, Drake's Fortune, back in the summer before it came out. So I was all caught up, and I was ready for this anticipated sequel. And with Uncharted 2, it's really the game that made me fall in love with the studio Naughty Dog. And as you can see from my background, and as I've mentioned constantly, I'm a huge Last of Us fan, and I spend a lot of my videos, or I've had a good amount of videos talking about how much I love The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, and I feel like I haven't made enough videos talking about Uncharted, because before there was The Last of Us, there was Uncharted. And this is just a metal tin I just bought that I'm gonna hang up on my wall over there, right next to The Last of Us Part 2 canvas. It's gonna hang up right over those stockings, but I'm waiting for some command strips to show up so I can stick it onto the wall. But I do love the Uncharted 2 box art here, so it's one of my favorite box art designs, I would say. And with the recent announcement of Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, the first new IP from Naughty Dog, going to be coming in the next few years here. So it's, the first new IP that Naughty Dog has had since they announced The Last of Us in 2011 and end of 2011. So it's an exciting time to be a Naughty Dog fan. Of course, we still have The Last of Us. We have The Last of Us TV show, Last of Us Part 3 probably coming at some point. But I want to talk about Uncharted, and I want to look back at the Uncharted series, not just in this video, but in future videos. So I'm planning to discuss Uncharted 3, going back to that, Uncharted 4, and Uncharted 2, 3, and 4 are what really made the Uncharted series. Like, I love Uncharted 1, I love all the Uncharted games, but Uncharted 2, 3, and 4, I think, are all amazing games. And The Lost Legacy is a solid game too. But for this video, Uncharted 2, I want to get back to it. I'm feeling nostalgic. I'm ready to hop back into it, and yeah. And for a little while there, after Uncharted 2 came out, and the following years, Uncharted 2 was a game I would consider my favorite video game of all time. I absolutely adored it. I played it multiple times when it first came out. This game is very replayable. It has good pace into it. It's not too long, and it really just, Uncharted 2 brought the Uncharted series to the next level, because Uncharted 1 was kind of like this sleeper hit at the time when it came out in 2007. And I keep in mind, I didn't get my PS3 until late in 2007, but I remember people even before I had my PS3 talking about when Uncharted 1 and how it was kind of like this sleeper hit, that Naughty Dog was a name back then as far as a studio, because they, people knew them for Crash Bandicoot and Jak and Daxter. But Uncharted Drake's Fortune was a big change for Naughty Dog, going from this cartoony 3D platform on the PS2 and Jak and Daxter to Uncharted 1, which it's like this heavily cinematic experience, and they're using mocap animations, which they had never used mocap animations before in any of their previous games. And it was going for a more realistic look. Obviously, it's not cartoony like Crash Bandicoot or Jak and Daxter, but the leap from Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2 was notable. And just the graphics, just the wider variety of environments you go to. It's a globe-trotting adventure, and I would say that's probably the biggest reason why Uncharted 2, 3, and 4 I all prefer over Uncharted 1, because Uncharted 1 just really takes place on this, island, and I love the variations and locations that you would go to during Uncharted 2. So as I previously stated a few moments ago, I had played Uncharted Drake's Fortune a few months before Uncharted 2 had released, and it made me an Uncharted fan. It made me excited to play the sequel, but that initial push to get me to finally play Uncharted was watching Sony's E3 press conference in 2009, and let me just put my headphones on if I can. But watching this, I remember watching it on Spike TV, this conference, and back then I was on YouTube, watching YouTube videos, but I remember watching this. It was televised on Spike TV, and I just remember watching this. I wanted Sony to announce Kingdom Hearts 3 because that was the only thing I wanted to hear. That was all I cared about, because I was such a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and I was looking forward to the next Kingdom Hearts entry. Excuse me. And as Jack Trenton is about to introduce Evan Wells here of Naughty Dog, I remember just not really caring about Naughty Dog or knowing much about Naughty Dog and Uncharted at the point. And this demo, what we're about to see, is what really got me excited and first interested in playing Uncharted. So here's Evan Wells, who actually left Naughty Dog recently.
Thanks, Jack. Naughty Dog has had a 15-year tradition of pushing the PlayStation hardware to its limits, and we feel that Uncharted 2 sets the new gold standard in limit pushing. And it
definitely did. It was this game, Uncharted 2, from a graphical and presentation standpoint, blew me away more than any other game I had ever played. Like when I played Uncharted 2 for the first time, I felt like we truly were in a new generation of console gaming.
But we promised we'd be back to show you more of our single-player campaign. So today, you'll see
and
what is not only
Uncharted 2 multiplayer, I actually, as he just mentioned the beta, I did play a good amount of hours in Uncharted 2 multiplayer, and I'm not a big multiplayer guy, but I had fun playing it.
Uncharted 2 Among Thieves.
But now keep in mind this video is in 720p, so we're not gonna, YouTube's not doing the game really justice with this video.
Okay, this way.
What do you reckon? We're gonna have to climb that thing?
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
It's one of my favorite parts of the game, this section.
Let's get moving.
I miss E3. E3 is no longer a thing. Just kind of miss seeing the live crowd reactions.
Damn it. How the hell do we get across?
Looks like we're gonna have to shimmy across that beam.
Oh god, be careful.
Holy shit.
Here, I've got you. Give me your hand.
Just go! Right behind you, go!
I mean, this is what Uncharted's known for. It's these set pieces, these high action octane set pieces, and I mean, compared to what they do in future Uncharted entries with the set pieces, this is relatively I don't want to say mild, but for the time, this was very cool set piece to first be introduced to at E3 here.
Yeah, never better.
And I should say, I watched Indiana Jones for the first time, Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I'm getting prepared for Indiana Jones video game to release on PS5. So, kind of in the action adventure treasure hunting mood, I guess you could say, but you get later into the demo here. This is something like you've never seen before in a video game, where it's just like you're in this action set piece, mowing down enemies as a building's collapsing.
We were almost in that.
But yeah, I mean, for its time, that was very crazy demo. It's just like, whoa, what is this? What is happening right now?
So be sure to check out more on Uncharted 2 in the Sony booth. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Jack. And yeah, so when Uncharted 2 finally released, it was critically acclaimed. It won all these Game of the Year awards, 96 on Metacritic, which is very impressive. Very, very highly rated game from critics and people alike, gamers alike. But yeah, so Uncharted 2, when this game released, and let me just go back to full screen here. When this game released, I feel like this really did change the outlook on PlayStation 3. And it was right around, I believe it was right around the same time that Uncharted 2 released that they came out with the PS3 Slim, and they gave it like $100 price cut. I want to say it was like, they reduced it down to either $400 or $300, which, you know, the PS3 had a bad start in its first few years because it was so expensive, and the Xbox 360 was cheaper, and PS3 kind of lacked games for the first few years. But when we got to Uncharted 2 in 2009, that's when the momentum really started to shift, and PS3 eventually did overtake Xbox 360 in sales at the very end of the generation. But for the very beginning of the generation, Xbox 360 really kind of kicked PS3's butt. But it was a very competitive generation. Most competitive generation, I would say, that I recall. Because PS3 and Xbox 360 were very close in sales. And, you know, of course, PS1 and PS2, PS4, and now PS5, they've all sold extremely well and were well ahead of Xbox or their competition at the time. But yeah, it really did. Uncharted 2 changed the outlook in PS3. It honestly, I think, in terms of influential games for PlayStation, Uncharted 2 is up there, because I just think, you know, after Uncharted 2, Sony really put more of a focus on these games with a third-person camera view, heavy narrative experience, you know, action. So, you know, we got obviously The Last of Us after Uncharted. We got Ghost of Tsushima. We got even God of War, which was originally, you know, a completely different game with a different camera angle. It was more like a arcadey. Well, I don't know if you want to say arcadey, but they changed God of War even to, you know, the third-person camera action perspective, and with a heavy focus on narrative. But it really, I feel like this game ushered in a new era for not just the PS3, but just PlayStation in general. Like, ever since Uncharted 2, Sony has just been known for releasing these types of games as their exclusives, and I think no one does it better than Naughty Dog between Uncharted and The Last of Us. So yeah, Uncharted 2 released in 2009, and when this game released, I was 14 years old. So in preparation of doing this video, I'm a little bit embarrassed to show this comment, but I I went to the Uncharted 2 Among Thieves review from IGN, and you know how sometimes when you go back onto maybe your social media account like your Facebook and you see old posts that you look at and you're like, wow, I cannot believe I posted that, or I can't believe I wrote that in a post. And this is exactly how I felt when I came down to this comment here. So we're going back to an immature James who was, just looking for that game I could brag about as a PS3 owner. And Uncharted 2 was that game, but yeah, I'm not exactly proud of this comment here. So, best game this generation, which at the time, no doubt, it was my favorite game that generation. But this is when the comment makes me cringe. So, this game makes 360 fanboys cry because it kicks Halo and Gears, you know what, in all caps. And yeah, I can't believe I wrote a comment like that, because I'm like, I think of like nowadays there's like, what? Why are people getting engaged in console wars and fanboyism, and why do people have to be so obnoxious about it on social media? And like, then I look at this comment, it's like, oh wait, I used to be that kid who would engage in that, because PS3, this was the height of the console wars, if you ask me. It was PS3 versus 360. Tensions were high, stakes were high. Well, obviously I'm being dramatic because Sony and Microsoft, they're two big corporations that they just want your money. They're making hand over fist on these consoles, and why do we get so sucked into console wars? But this comment is embarrassing, but it's funny. It's funny but embarrassing. So this is what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna click the three dots here, and we're gonna say goodbye to this comment. And yeah, I promise you I don't make comments like this anymore as a 29-year-old man, almost 30. So yeah, I love Uncharted 2, but there's no excuse for writing a comment like that. All right, let's press the delete, and we're gonna say goodbye to this 14-year-old comment. And it's probably it's probably gonna be 15, because I probably wrote this around the time of Uncharted 2 releasing, but we're deleting this. Okay, so I want to give you guys a little bit of Uncharted 2 gameplay from the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection on my PS5 here, so you can get a better quality image of this amazing looking game. And Uncharted 2 was absolutely mind-blowing when it came out. The graphics at the time, I just remember playing this game so many times and just marveling at the detail, the attention and detail that Naughty Dog, in every game is known for. But I remember just a lot of points where I would just stop and just like stare at how beautiful this game is, and just how high fidelity it was. And sure, we go to Uncharted 2 here. It's not as impressive now, but when this game came out in 2009, it was like nothing I've ever seen before. And so, I mean, Naughty Dog just always pushes the boundary of graphical fidelity in their games. And getting back to that comment I just deleted, Halo and Gears, I like both Halo and Gears, and the 360 was a great console. I feel like I still can't believe I made that comment. But anyway, let's get into Uncharted 2 and listen to that awesome theme, which is one of my favorite themes in any video game. But let's play the opening sequence here, which is quite iconic and one of the coolest openings to a game ever. So yeah, just do normal. I don't know if I'll do a full playthrough or not, but let's get into this. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. not tell half of what I saw, for I knew I would not be believed. Marco Polo. On his deathbed, 1324.
What's going on? That's my blood. That's my blood. It's a lot of my blood.
So, I'm trying to remember the term. Since they're starting this game off in the middle of the story, and you'll see after this they go back, flashback. I can't think of the term. Is it in med res? Is that the term I'm thinking of, where they start out at one of the climactic moments in a story? I can't remember. I remember reading it in a book recently, and that made me think of this. Chapter 1, A Rock in a Hard Place. But this train sequence that you come back to later in the game is one of the most memorable gameplay sequences for me ever, because before it collapsed, you're on the train. I believe you're trying to get Chloe. I believe you're trying to catch up to Chloe, and I think that was part of the reason why they were on the train, but they were trying to go to Nepal. But in this train sequence, you're riding on the train in real time, and you're getting by all these enemies, and the environment's changing around you. It was very impressive, technically, and it still is. But this is one of my favorite gameplay. When you get onto that train, it's one of my favorite gameplay sequences. And it's been a few years since I played Uncharted 2. I want to say I haven't played it in it's maybe the first time since before Uncharted or Last of Us Part 2 came out. So I want to say it's been over 5 years. But this game's so, it's so memorable. It doesn't feel that long ago that I last played it. And, I've been reflecting recently, like, Uncharted 2 has always held, like, a special place in my heart. But I think recently I've kind of started to adopt the mindset that Uncharted 3 and 4 are actually even better than this game. But I think part of the reason why I've always thought Uncharted 2 was the best, just partially because of nostalgia, but also just because of the leap this game took from Uncharted 1 to 2. Uncharted 3 and 4 are amazing games, but this game holds more of a special place in my heart. But I think Uncharted 3 and 4 are better games, and I think I recently came to that opinion after just reflecting on Uncharted series. But I mean, you can't go wrong playing any of those games, and I would say the majority of people would say Uncharted 2 is the best, but I may say Uncharted 4 is actually the best. I remember I got the collector's edition for Uncharted 3. It was like, I think the only game I ever got a collector's edition for. Alright, let's get off this train. Hurry, run. Oh my god. Jump. Got a bad wound there. And I did watch the Uncharted movie a few years ago in theaters, and I thought it was solid. It wasn't you know,
Buy me a drink, sailor.
the best movie I've ever seen,
Henry
but
Flynn?
I thought it was a fun time,
Hey!
and
What the hell are you doing here?
I'm looking for you, mate.
I look forward to
Should I
the
be
future
flattered
Uncharted
or
movies, which I
worried?
know they'll be coming out with
Maybe a
more.
bit of both.
Flynn, we both know 2 people who were killed trying to lift something out of this
And
place.
one who made it out.
And I would say
I can't do this
the
without
big
you.
reason why Naughty Dog games
You're
really
the only one
resonate
who's
with me
cracked it, and you know
is
better than
their
anyone. It's a
characters
two-person
and
job.
the
Come on.
characters in Uncharted.
3, actually.
Nathan Drake,
Right.
Victor Sullivan,
Speak of the devil, here she
Chloe
comes
Fraser, Elena. They're all
Chloe
likable
Fraser.
characters with their own personalities, and
Drake, Nathan.
I like their back and forth when they're in parties together. It's always
Chloe is one of the best drivers in the business.
good, interesting dialogue, funny, snarky dialogue, and obviously the characters' dialogue is a little more lighthearted and comedic than, let's say, The Last of Us, which is, you know, a heavier tone. But I love, I think that's a big reason why Naughty Dog games stick with me, is because of their characters. I love their characters. They're always well acted, well voiced, and yeah.
That's it.
So
An oil lamp.
Nathan Drake is definitely one of my favorite protagonists in any game.
Worthless. I don't get it.
Neither do we. That's why we tracked you down. He's talking about the lost fleet.
Yeah, I think this game still looks very good. It's not as impressive as it once was, but
600 passengers and 14
I mean, man, in
ships
2009,
loaded down
this
with treasure from Kublai Khan.
was like nothing I've ever
When he
seen
lands in
before.
Persia a year and a half later, with only 1 ship left and only 18 passengers.
I remember playing it
Now, he
for the first
recorded
time on
every
my
detail of his journey, but he never told
my
what
parents'
happened to all
big
those
60-inch
ships and the passengers.
Sony 1080p HD
So somewhere
TV.
out there, there are 13 ships loaded
And
with
man,
the Emperor's
wow,
treasure
just playing
waiting
that on a
to be
big
found.
TV with the
That
amazing picture.
is what
Wow,
you
it was
find
just
in that
like,
Hey, look at this lamp.
it just
It's covered in
so mind
Mongolian
blowing. I
script.
just
It
like
must have been a gift
I'm
from
like
Kublai
I
Khan.
can't believe what I'm seeing on screen right
The
now.
light of the great Khan shelters the fate of the 13.
And I think this is one of the best paced Naughty Dog games too, which is
What the
from
hell?
start to finish.
I mean, what could
it's-
possibly go wrong?
You're on the edge of your seat, and there's so many cool action sequences, chase sequences, and I remember the snow still looks impressive, but just the snow and how he walks in it, and just like the footprints, and it's like y'all take this for granted now, but like back in 2009 when I saw this, you know, the light in from the tree on fire, just like when you get to the Tenzin part, I mean, you're going through that ice cave. That was one of the most impressive things from this game visually. I mean, the whole game is visually impressive. I believe this is actually a treasure over here, if I remember correctly. I just want to grab it. Is it over here? I'm trying to remember. I've never got the platinum for any of the Uncharted games, but I definitely want to try to do that sometime. Where's that? Oh, I can roll. Where's that treasure? I know it's around here somewhere. Was it over here by this rock? Where is it? Ooh, there it is. Raffle deity statue. Alright, let's get through this, Nathan. Yes. Shoot the lock off. I remember this. R1 to reload.
He's alive! Karma's a bitch.
All right. Let's get out of here. The only thing after this sequence here, there's like this stealth mission, and I kind of feel like it did kind of slow down the pacing a little bit. But after the stealth mission, it's just like non-stop action. But the stealth mission is kind of just like wasn't needed. You go to this museum next, and I think it did hurt the pacing here at the beginning a little bit, but still enjoy the game. Just can't catch a break right now.
Easy.
Oh, you're not jealous. Let's not forget who walked out on whom. After all, you don't get to be
Oh yeah,
jealous.
it's a whole love triangle in
If it
this
makes
game.
you feel any better? My relationship with Flynn is strictly professional.
Of course, Nathan Drake goes on to marry Elena.
When
What?
I figured out he was actually on to something,
He was into Chloe for a short time.
on the action.
So what's the plan?
Just like we said, we pull the heist, we find the ships, and we make off with the treasure.
With Flynn.
First time I saw this, like,
And then-
oh geez, they're not gonna have a sex scene on Uncharted, are they?
Just
It's like, come on, this game is rated teen.
together this time.
I see.
Until then, he can't know about us.
He's gonna be pissed.
He's gonna be fine. Trust me.
Yeah, it's more than a professional relationship, I would say. Yeah, Nolan North, the voice actor, Nathan Drake is like he's in so many games, like Troy Baker. You know, Troy Baker done Joel and many characters, but like I feel like Nolan North, you don't see his name in credits for many games as much nowadays. Maybe because he's a little bit older, but I mean, obviously Nathan Drake is his most iconic role, but he's been in a lot of games. There's the dagger in the snow. It's a key. To unlock it somewhere. You'll find out at the end of the game if you haven't played. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to provide a little bit of Uncharted 2 gameplay, but I still love Uncharted 2. It holds up, and I plan to replay it probably at some point. I don't know. I don't think I'll replay it now, but I want to, you know, just I hope you enjoyed this video, and I want to ask you, what is your favorite Uncharted game? What is your favorite Naughty Dog game of all time? And you know, when did you first play Uncharted 2? On the PS3, PS4, PS5 now? And you know, Uncharted 5 has been heavily rumored to be in development, but Naughty Dog is said they're not working on Uncharted anymore. So the rumors are that some outside Naughty Dog team, outside Sony team, is working on Uncharted 5. So I'm thinking that's probably going to be releasing whenever the next Uncharted movie comes out, or right around the same time. So would you be hyped for a new Uncharted? I know I certainly would, and it's been, you know, it's been a good number of years now since Uncharted 4, which came out in 2016. So I would definitely welcome more Uncharted, and I think I think you can milk series, but I think with Uncharted, you can just continue to have new entries from time to time, and you know, just have a new entry every few years or so, or not every few years, but every so often. And it's been long enough where I'm ready for more Uncharted, and I would definitely welcome an Uncharted 5 whenever we get that. It's been rumored to be in development in the last few years. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like. Let's engage in the comment sections. Let's have a good, healthy discussion in the comment sections. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.